call the November 15th council meeting to order. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, Jackie, can you please call the roll?
Yes. Mayor Evans,
Here?
Vice Mayor Russell,
Here.
Mr. Mitchell,
Here.
Ms. Cooper,
Here.
Mr. Redmond,
Here.
Ms. Chamberlain,
Here.
Mr. Parrish.
Here.
All right, and that takes us to proceedings. Do I have a motion to approve the council meeting proceedings from November 1st?
So move. Second.
Ms. Evans,
Yes.
Mr. Parrish,
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
And that takes us to our public comment section. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment? All right, then we will move right into our committee reports. Public services, Ms. Chamberlain?
Thank you, Mayor. We had a Public Service Committee meeting on November 9th. I called the meeting to order at 4 p.m. Present was myself, Christopher Parrish, Kyle Mitchell, staff City Manager Michael Doss, and Executive Assistant Jackie Bain. We had one visitor, Rebecca Geiger. Myself and Mr. Mitchell read and approved the August 24th, 2022 Public Service Committee minutes. Mr. Parrish abstained. The first item on the agenda was discussion of an audible crosswalk quote. Mr. Doss discussed with the committee information regarding a quote received from Capital Electric Line Builders, Inc. for this project. The quote is for 3 audible push-button installation, one at each of the following locations. 5 Points intersection for $17,986.28. Lila Avenue and Cemetery Road for $10,485.75, and US 50 and Worcester Pike for $6,840.48. Rebecca Geiger asked the committee when do they expect the installation to be started. Mr. Doss stated that he is hopeful that this will be done within 30 to 45 days. Ms. Geiger expressed her appreciation for working so quickly on this project. It makes her walks in the city a lot safer. The committee agreed to recommend that the city manager draft an ordinance to enter into an agreement with Capital Electric Line Builders, Inc. in the amount of $35,312.51 for the purchase and installation of audible crosswalk devices.
Second.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Parrish,
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain,
Yes.
Ms. Evans.
Yes.
The next item was discussion of Jim Terrell Park Canoe Kayak Launch engineering quote. Mr. Doss discussed a backstory with the committee on how the city received approximately $190,000 as a direct appropriation from the state of Ohio. In their capital budget, we have a piece in the budget that appropriates $190,000 for this project. We also received $55,000 from Claremont County Community Bank Block Grant. We leveraged the money that we received in the capital budget as our match for the Community Development Block Grant. Currently, we are $50,000 short from having the entire project funded. That $50,000 is in the budget for next year. We are still waiting to hear back regarding the Verizon grant. If we do receive this grant, it should fund the entire project. Now that we are moving forward with 2 of the 3 funding mechanisms in place, we must get it designed and engineered. This will include surveying and processes that we will have to go through with the state ODNR and their federal counterpart. The goal is to have this constructed and operational by Memorial Day weekend of next year. MSP Inc. originally did some of the conceptual for us. They are also working on our Five Points Landing Park project. Mr. Doss asked Kleiningers if they could provide us a quote for the engineering design services for the canoe kayak launch. They work intimately with Army Corps of Engineers and are very familiar with the process. They provided a quote for engineering design services. Mr. Doss stated that this engineering services for this project were also included in the total project that he mentioned for funding. Discussion also included some of the design changes that will be made and how this will provide much-needed additional public safety. The committee agreed to recommend that the city manager draft an ordinance to enter into an agreement with Kleiningers Group in the amount of $32,250 for engineering and design services for the Jim Terrell Park Canoe and Kayak Launch.
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes. Then we had discussion regarding the 2023 Claremont County Road Resurfacing Program for the city of Milford. Mr. Doss discussed the participation in the Claremont County Engineers Resurfacing Program. Many other townships and some villages tag along with the county's paving plan. The point is to shrink the numbers with mobilization and with some of the bulk, remove some of the asphalt cost. In order to participate in the program, the committee and council must approve legislation for our participation through Claremont County Commission and Claremont County Engineers Office. The committee reviewed the agreement information. Exhibit A was reviewed, which identifies the streets that we would like to pave in 2023. Beach Street from High to Maple, Cleveland Avenue from Mill to 238 Cleveland, Edgecombe Road from Main Street to the Dead End, and Winnebago Drive from Garfield Avenue to Powhatan Drive. The total cost plus contingency, $200,000. We do have the money in our budget for paving and resurfacing next year. These streets and avenues were identified in our paving management study and were scored on priorities of conditions. Mr. Parrish asked if we do the rescoring every so often. Mr. Doss explained that it is an evolving study and it is scored out 10 to 15 years. The committee agreed to recommend that the city manager draft an ordinance to enter into an agreement with the Claremont County Commissioners and Claremont County Engineer in the amount of $200,000 for the purpose of participating in the 2023 Claremont County Road Resurfacing Program.
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Then we went on to discuss the Emergency Generator Grant Program. Mr. Doss discussed that this grant is from the Ohio EPA. Water Department Supervisor Joe Castile informed Mr. Doss that we could use a backup generator at one of our pump stations on State Route 28. We are working with Branstetter Carroll and to apply for an emergency generator through this grant. The grant is up to $50,000 with no match. It should cover the cost of the backup generator. Mr. Parrish asked if we get $50,000, what kind of annual maintenance costs are involved, or is it negligible? Do we use 100% fossil fuels for powering? Do we have any clean energy that comes into the city buildings that we could possibly store? Mr. Doss stated that at this time we do not. The committee agreed to recommend that the city manager draft an ordinance to make application to and enter into agreement with the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency under the Emergency Generator Equipment Grant for the purposes of the emergency generator for the Water Department. The city manager is further authorized to enter into and sign any and all documents as necessary and appropriate for obtaining this financial assistance.
Second. Or do we need one for that? Yeah, second.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
So then we had some additional items that were
Mr.
discussed.
Parrish, I'm
I
sorry.
am so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
You're on.
Additional items that were discussed, drinking water fountain at Veterans Park is not working. Mr. Doss will look into this. And then also, we are winterizing, so it might not be back till,
Yes, makes sense.
I'll just put that in
Otherwise
there.
it'd be frozen
Yeah,
fountain.
otherwise it'll be a frozen fountain. The traffic light at Locust, there is no change of the light if there is no car on Locust turning onto Main Street. There is no signal to allow pedestrians to safely cross the street. Mr. Doss will check on this as well. And we also discussed a little bit of parking, how to get people to park in places that sit empty, possibly make hybrid of the big blue parking signs that can move around to indicate additional public parking in city lots, Google Maps to also be contacted regarding public parking in the city, or add QR codes on signs that can be scanned. Mr. Parrish had a great idea about also the QR code information could also include city events like Frontier Days and Sparks in the Park. Parking lot parking enforcement will also be looked into, as well as bike trail parking lot lighting was also discussed. There being no further business, the meeting adjourned at 4:45 PM with a motion from myself and was seconded by Mr. Parrish, and we all said yes.
All right, thank you very much for your report. Mr. Doss is not here tonight, so I will read the city manager's report. The Appalachian Community Grant Program, the city intends to apply for a technical assistance grant to examine and evaluate a potential parking garage facility in downtown Milford. The deadline for the application is Friday, December 9th. The hometown grant application update, so Ms. Chamberlain mentioned this about the additional grant for the canoe launch. We did not get that grant. Only 25 projects are approved each quarter from communities all around the United States. We do have that money, however, in our budget, and the city intends to reapply this quarter ending in December. Wallace Avenue Waterline Project update. Engineering for the supply and discharge water lines is almost complete. The city expects the projects to go out for bid at the beginning of December. The projects are scheduled to be completed by next summer. No standing committee reports at this meetings at this time. A few reminders, tomorrow night, November 16th, is zoning training at 6 o'clock. City offices will be closed November 24th and 25th for Thanksgiving. November 25th is the holiday tree lighting at Memorial Park at 7 o'clock. December 1st, Milford Community Improvement Corporation has a meeting at 3:30, and our next council meeting is December 6th at 7. And that takes us to Chief Mills on the police report.
Thank you, Mayor. You should have my October report in front of you, but I'll read it for the record. In training, all sworn members completed our annual response to resistance in-service training, and Officer Dennis attended her monthly Hamilton County Police Association dive and recovery team training. We had several notable occurrences. Several thefts from unlocked and locked vehicles were reported at Finley Ray Park. The vehicles that had their windows broken out, however, all had visible valuables inside. That's a message I've tried to get out to the community as much as I can, that it's not enough to lock your car. You've got to remove any visible valuables from inside. Fortunately, several pieces of property were found by Officer Mell, who took it upon himself to walk State Route 450, and that case is still under active investigation by Detective Rogers. A reported overdose on Chamber Drive resulted in the subject transported to the hospital and subsequently cited for reasonable control. Squad 1 responded to a serious injury auto accident on I-275 North. Officers took control of the scene, coordinated with Union Township Police, Miami Township Police and Fire, Ohio State Highway Patrol, in shutting down the highway, collecting witness statements, and processing the scene before reopening. The next one you may have seen on local or national news. Squad 1 responded to an auto accident where a 17-year-old male had a medical emergency, crossed over the double yellow line, driving through 5 Points Landing before striking a Duke Utility Depot station and going airborne before crashing into a house on Lila Avenue. Fortunately and miraculously, he was not seriously injured, and again, it was a medical emergency that he was suffering, but it was quite an ordeal. Officer Fannin stopped a vehicle for a moving violation and subsequently arrested a passenger on felony warrants and seized a loaded firearm. 4 juveniles trespassed into the old Milford South School. The juveniles were identified by Detective Wilson and fully cooperated with the investigation. That matter was handled informally through mediation with the family and the victim in that case. And we had 3 separate runaways this month that were all successfully investigated with the juveniles safely recovered. Our body-worn camera project is officially kicked off. We started wearing them today, so we're phasing them in through the various squads, but that project has finally come to fruition, and all sworn members completed their annual physical fitness test during the month of October. A lot of community relations items. MARC completed 2 shifts. Our Citizens Police Academy continued. In fact, we're graduating tomorrow night, and Mayor Evans is one of the guest speakers for us. Squad 3 attended the annual Tree Ridge Community Pig Roast. Officers were permitted to expose their tattoos during the month of October as part of a fundraiser to support a local woman fighting breast cancer. Officer Bogan attended trunk-or-treat events at Milford Shopping Center and Little Miami Brewery Event Center. Officer Eschman participated in Reading with the Stars at Pattison Elementary. Officers and volunteers handed out candy on Halloween night. And we issued 11 cop watch forms, conducted 22 vacation house checks, and 254 directed patrols.
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
report. Been busy. District Chief Miller and the fire report.
All right. Our crews attended the chili cook-off over the weekend. That was given by the Masonic Lodge and American Legion. We thank them for that invite, and the chili was delicious. We know our chili, right? Just a reminder that there's no open burning in the city. We've seen quite a significant increase in open burns throughout the county and our area, which has caused a lot of damage. Those fires can very quickly get out of control. So we just want to remind people of that. We had a fire last night on Club Drive. It was contained to the deck in the rear of the house. We had approximately 35 firefighters respond to that incident. Thank you to our mutual aid units from Anderson, Madeira, Indian Hill, Terrace Park, Union Township, and Miami Township. There were no injuries, and the damage was very minor. And one final reminder, Santa Sunday is on December 18th this year. It will begin around 1 o'clock. Just listen for the sirens, and you'll see Santa on the fire truck.
December
Awesome.
8th.
Right. And fire truck rides on Friday
Fire
and
truck
Saturday?
rides, yes, on Friday, Saturday during hometown holidays.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank
much.
for that reminder.
All right, thank you very much. All right, that takes us to council comments. Anyone from council?
I just wanted to commend, I got a text, no, it was an email in South Milford regarding the fire department's prompt attention to that fire yesterday evening. And they had nothing but good things to say about our fire department, and I said, absolutely, they were correct.
I had a resident contact me recently. They had a dog trapped under a deck, I guess.
Saw that video.
And they took the deck apart, got the dog out, and then she was like, they even put the deck back together. So she was very complimentary of the fire department as well. That's awesome. So, any other comments? All right, that takes us to new business ordinances and resolutions.
Excuse me. Resolution 22-176, an ordinance to enter into an agreement with Capital Electric Line Builders, Inc. in the amount of $35,312.51 for the purchase and installation of audible crosswalks. Now therefore be it Milford, Ohio, Section 1, the council hereby authorized to enter into an agreement with Line Builders, Inc. in the amount of $35,312.51 for the purchase and installation of audible crosswalk devices at various locations throughout the city. The terms and conditions of this agreement are fully incorporated by reference under and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with Section 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Move to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second?
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
And I read it by title again, right, Mayor?
Yep.
An ordinance to enter into an agreement with Capital Electric Line Builders, Inc. in the amount of $35,312.51 for the purchase and installation of audible crosswalks.
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 22-177, an ordinance to enter into an agreement with Kleinger's Group in the amount of $32,250 for engineering and design services for the Terrell Park Canoe Kayak Launch. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio. Section 1. The Council of the City of Milford hereby authorizes the city manager to enter into an agreement with Kleinger's Group in the amount of $32,250 for engineering and design services for the Jim Terrell Park Canoe Kayak launch. The terms and conditions of this agreement are fully incorporated by reference under and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2. Under and in accordance with Section 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, comma, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Move to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
An ordinance to enter into an agreement with Kleinger's Group in the amount of $32,250 for engineering and design services for the Terrell Park Canoe Kayak launch.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Ordinance number 22-178, an ordinance to enter into an agreement with the Claremont County Board of Commissioners and Claremont County Engineer in the amount of $200,000 to participate in the 2023 Claremont County Road Resurfacing Program. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio. Section 1. The Council of the City of Milford hereby authorizes the city manager to enter into agreement with the Claremont County Board of Commissioners and the Claremont County Engineer in the amount of $200,000 to participate in the 2023 Claremont County Road Resurfacing Program. The terms and conditions of this agreement are fully incorporated by reference under and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with Section 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Move to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
An ordinance to enter into an agreement with the Claremont County Board of Commissioners and Claremont County Engineer in the amount of $200,000 to participate in the 2023 Claremont County Road Resurfacing Program.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 22-179, an ordinance to apply for and to enter into an agreement with Ohio Environmental Protection Agency under the Emergency Generator Equipment Grant to obtain an emergency generator for the Water Department. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of Milford, Ohio. Section 1. The Council of the City of Milford hereby authorizes the city manager to apply for and to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency under the Emergency Generator Equipment Grant to obtain an emergency generator for the Water Department. To effectuate this ordinance, the city manager is also authorized to take any action, including signing any and all documents necessary and appropriate to obtain this financial assistance. The terms and conditions of the grant application and guidelines are fully incorporated by reference under and in accordance with Section 12.03 of the Milford City Charter. Section 2, under and in accordance with Section 12.05 of the Milford City Charter, this ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its passage by City Council.
Move to suspend the rules and read by title only.
Second.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
An ordinance to apply, ordinance number 22-179, an ordinance to apply for and to enter into an agreement with Ohio Environmental Protection Agency under the Emergency Generator Equipment Grant to obtain an emergency generator for the Water Department.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
All right, no further business. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Quick.
Mayor Evans?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Ms. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.